Hey everyone, it's Desiree. Now, this is part of the Christmas series. I have no idea what day this is going to be. Fingers crossed. It's 19, I think. Was really struggling with this. So, last year I started putting in a journal. Because again, it's paper, and that's what my channel's about. Just paper. Mainly cards, but just what we can do with paper. So, and I had that for 3 days. So I don't want to take up 3 days when it comes to the series. So I'm going to show as much as I can. So this video is going to kind of be very much all over the place. And what I mean by that is I'm talking through this. I want to show you the 2 digital kits that I am going to use. I am also going to have a voiceover for another section so that I can show you as much as I can in this day's video for the Christmas series. And what I don't show will continue on the weekend. So, but it's not going to take up a day. So you will see these journals. And when I say journals, there is a reason why I have multiple different journals. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. This section right here, just showing you the digitals. I am on my, let's see, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3. I believe this is the 4th time I'm filming this part. Yeah. I don't know why, but videos were fuzzy, videos were lost. It's been a fun time for this. So here's how this is going to break down. I'm going to show you the 2 digital kits. I'm going to let you know where you can get them to make sure that you check out the shop. I am then going to show you the sewing in of a signature of one of these. I do like to be live when I'm sewing a signature. I think it helps because it's one of the things that I get a lot of emails and comments about that they struggle with that. I get it. It can be daunting. All right. So I'm going to show one signature being sewn. Now, why am I stressing one signature? Because I am actually ending up with 6 journals. I kid you not. 6 journals. So, and it's all different ways. And again, the video that you're going to see after this, I'm going to do a voiceover. Because there's all kinds of different things that I'm going to be showing you. In that one, you're going to see me gluing in some trims, some laces, and you're going to see me do some other fun things. Which I don't want to give it away, even though it's going to come up quick. And it is going to be sped up. So, but I'm not going to do any editing. It's just going to be sped up for a little bit. And we're just going to do the voiceover on it. So this has just been fun. All right. So let's get through this part first, and then we'll move on into the other one. We'll see how this goes. Just keep in mind, this is going to be an extremely long video. Probably in the realm of an hour and a half, because again, I'm keeping everything in there as much as I can. What I'm going to do first is show you these 2 absolutely beautiful and adorable digital downloads that are available in an Etsy shop. I did the same thing that I did last year. Just kind of searched around into Etsy and came across, and it was very difficult because I came across a lot. Very difficult choices. So there's going to be others that you'll see too, but this is the one that I wanted to showcase within my Christmas series. And since it's going to be long, I am going to be gabbing because again, this video just got way out of control. Yeah. Wasn't quite sure what was going on with what I was recording with. And guys, it's not an easy process for this. I love it, but it's not. All right, so long video, lots of gabbing, not your forte. Wouldn't continue. Just saying. All right, so let's get started on not sure what day this is of the Christmas series of 2020, and this one is going to be our junk journal. Here we go. So there are 2 digital downloads that I'm going to be working with. Now, what I've done is there's going to be 2 separate journals, another 2. So I'm going to have one coming from this one and one coming from this one. So let's page through these real quick. So this one here, and they are by the same designer. So this one here is called Candy Christmas. I fell in love with the colors. I fell in love. Look at that precious image. It was just too cute. And I just love the colors. I love the mixed media look. I love the feel of these designs. So again, this one is called Candy Christmas. These come from a shop on Etsy called Calico Collage. And I do hope I am saying everything correctly. These are the beautiful ephemera pieces. So again, when I print my digital downloads down, I don't use a special cardstock. I don't use photo paper. I just use regular plain copy paper. The most inexpensive that you can get, whether it's from Amazon or whether it's from my local office supplies store. I usually pay about $5 per ream of 500. And the printer I use is a Hewlett-Packard Office. I'm turning around looking at it. Jet Pro 8720. That's all I do. So again, plain old copy paper. That's what I work with. So we have some fussy cuts. We have some journaling cards. We can turn this into a belly band. Again, more cards. Look at these images. Little tiny cup. I'm going to say that's coffee because I love coffee. The adorable snowman, and then Santa and the bell. And again, we've also got some labels with our words, some more labels, some cute candy canes. A great way to create the pockets. You know, this is a pocket. That's what I loved about it. It's already shaped for you so that you can cut it out or tear it. Same thing with this one. So she gives you the forms of your pockets and maybe your tucks. Some more fussy cuts that you can have and use as embellishments, and more pages. So you've got Santa on the gingerbread, and you've got a cookie, poinsettia. You've got a great snowman and Santa Claus there. We have a great just background page in a beautiful purple. Here's our hot cocoa, Santa up in the corner. Again, I just love the mixed media feel, the ink smushing feel. I think that's what pulled me in on it. Some more beautiful images. And then just something that's different when it comes to a page, but it's great if you put it in your book. Great areas for journaling, because I do like to have a lot of areas to write in the journals that I create. More hot chocolate. And that is, again, Candy Christmas. This is the one digital kit. And again, Calico Collage. And the owner's name, and again, I'm hoping I can say this correctly, but I believe I am, Norella Bouchard. She is the designer and does beautiful work. Now, this one here, it has it's a little bit larger of a journal kit. This is a journal kit as well. Okay, but I think this is a perfect kit with the amount of pages and so forth. This one's a little larger and has different areas that you can go. So you could create multiple journals from this set. Now, this one is called Joyful Christmas. So you've got this beautiful collage page here. A great mixed media feel. Now it's got some lines for journaling. Got a great background here, you know, when it comes to that. Could be great into the inside of your journal cover. Some absolutely adorable journal cards. Again, these images are just absolutely precious. Now, these two can also cross over into each other as well. The images are similar. The colors are close. So you could actually merge these two. Some more journaling cards. A band where you could make a belly band or just add a trim to a page if you wanted to. More cards or pieces of ephemera when it comes to that. Another piece of mixed media. And again, you've just got this awesome mixed media feel with die cuts and all of these different layers that are going on. These are just some fold-ups, you know, little tiny pockets or pieces of ephemera that you can paper clip in. You could just cut these out and fold them. Again, pieces of ephemera, some cards, some circles. We've got some pockets that are going on here, some tags, and then some tabs that we can use as well. Some bands, fussy cuts, some beautiful vintage pictures. Again, we can make books out of these, or you can make a belly band out of those, some tickets and another band. Again, you can accent a page with those. Some more journaling cards, a tag. Some great pages here. Again, the difference, what I love is the difference of it. You can journal in here, journal in this section, but completely different from this page to this page. And that's something that really drew me in after I got pulled in by the colors. Some great areas for journaling as well here. Some sheets of music are actually collaged onto the pages. Snowman and Santa. Has some great collages already set up for your covers. Again, more music. Santa. Now we have some grid papers and line papers coming into the mix. There's just so much. And now we're back to the full sheets, just collaging across the page. And then we have a different type of a collage where we have a border that goes around it. We have a couple sheets of those. And then more of the full backgrounds with some mixed media. Another mixed media page. And again, I just love the colors. I love the bright blue, the pink, the purple, the bright green, but still have those vintage photos throughout these. That's what I really loved. And then just a great page just to break some things up just a little bit. So this again is the Joyful Christmas collection. All right, now what I'm going to do is, now you'll see the other journals that I've put together that have already been sewn so many times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the video here, and when I come back, you're going to see all the pages already set up into the books, the journals that I'm making. Now for these, I am not going to coffee dye or tea dye or even just add water. You'll understand why I'm saying that in the video down the road there a little bit. I'm just going to keep the pages just as they are here. I'm just going to add a few sheets of white copy paper just to keep it white. Maybe some other colors as well, just to add some differences in here. Again, showing you different ways to put your journal together. And I'm going to do that one for each. Okay, so I will be back, and I'm just going to get my pages cut down and folded so we can go straight into the sewing of the signature. All right, so I'll be right back. Okay, as promised, I am back. So I've got my papers ready. I did not coffee dye anything. I did ink around the edge of this. I've already sewn around my cover. There are things when it comes to my journals that I do, whether it's out of habit or it's just something that I do. It's just a twist that I put onto it. One of the things is I always use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of craft cardstock, and it's by Recollections. I also use a sheet of paper that goes on the inside, and then I always sew around the outside. Now, sometimes I'll also fold this in half and put some marks over here, but mainly I will just go around the outside. I just pick and choose papers. Now, this one is just a little bit thinner than this one. And I have copy paper, I've got ivory paper, I've got some bags, and I also have some doilies in here, and I did a double layer on that. So, but I did not tea or coffee dye any of my papers. You'll see as we go on all of the different journals that I have. Let me grab my large book. Okay, so what I'm going to show is I'm going to show you in the live version here, as always, how I sew a signature. It's something that I get a lot of questions on when it comes to the sewing of a signature. This is going to be a single signature journal. I usually make a single or a double when I use my craft cardstock. So I have my larger scoreboard here so that I can pull. I am so running out of room here. So that I can take this, my cover piece, and get it scored at 5.5. Now I do this slowly because I am trying to go through 2 pieces of paper, even though one is a piece of copy paper. But I do like to score it twice. So I am going to do that for each of these, and then I can just completely put the scoreboard away. And you can see it's flying back in. Okay. So just go slowly, score it, and then score it on the other side, and then we are good to go. Okay, now, and of course I'm making a lot of noise. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to fold this just a little bit, just so that I can get that crease. I'm going to make sure that these are in here, and I will page through. I'm going to put these into the center of the cover, and then I just have a piece of scratch paper. I get my scratch pads from the dollar store. I absolutely love them, whether I'm taking notes or putting in my template for where I want my holes. Now, you do not have to make a template. That is totally preference. For some, I do, especially when I have different sizes of pages, because I need to make sure that those pages are being held by these. Now, I know for the majority, all my pieces are towards the center, and then I am in far enough from the edges that it won't tear. So you can see I clipped that in there. This is my template. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Put that in the center. I'm going to open this back up, and now I'm going to put my template in there. Again, this is a little bit bigger than 8.5, this piece of paper, but I'm just eyeballing it into the center. But what I'm making sure is these end markings are well within the edge of my pages that I'm putting in this journal. Alright, so I'm going to grab, I just use regular office bulldog clips. I think they have a great hold. I think they just hold, as I pause there, I just think they hold everything really well together, especially when they're new. As they loosen up, which they can over time, I will use them for other things. I want them to have a tight bond so that these pages do not shift. Now this has got a little bit of a bulge there, so I just release the pressure and it'll flatten itself out. All right, I have an old book and I use this for my punching. So you can see I go all through this. Every once in a while I may, take it in over here, but it just falls to that. And I just make sure that this is sitting right there. So I'm going to grab my awl and I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to hold it in my hand. So my thumb and the middle finger. I'm going to take my awl and I'm going to go straight down until I know I've gone into the book. I just need to make sure that I'm going through all the pages. To get that started. And then I'll bend it forward and I can already see that I did go through. Now I will take this and bend them and just push my awl through. I do like to have and make sure I have large holes. For me, they flatten out and they don't cause me a problem, but I like to have this because I don't like to cross my threads, and I always do that. All right, I'm going to set that one aside. I just want to put that clip back on there. All right, I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Again, hold it up between my thumb and my middle finger, and I'm just going to punch through. Going to move my hand up as I come to the end, and then of course I'll move it back for this end. Going through, and now I'm just going to take my awl and push it through just to make sure that they are of a good size. And I'm not pushing the awl or my pokey tool all the way through. Coming in about halfway, not even. So I'm not coming up all the way to here. I'm stopping right about here. All right, I'm going to set that aside, move this, and now we are ready to sew. All right, ow. Okay, so I have my needle and my thread ready. Now, if you guys are ever interested, or I get a lot of questions, what thread am I using? What needle am I using? And so forth. I do have that down. If you click on my Amazon store link, it is an affiliate link. But I usually get my wax thread through Amazon. I get my needles through Amazon. I live by Amazon when it comes to all of our side things. Even the bulldog clips, I get them there as well. So you can check out that link that's down below. All right, so to get started, I always make sure I have an odd number of holes, whether that's 3, 5, 7. I usually don't go more than 7. Matter of fact, I very rarely go to 7. It's usually 5. And when I have that, I always start in the center. So I'm going to come from the center and I'm going to go to the outside. I'm going to pull this and I'm going to make sure I leave a tail. So I also make sure that when I leave the tail, it is extending off the book. And that's because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this thread. I don't know if I'm going to cut it, just knot it and keep it up in here, or if I want to have charms come down, or if I'm going to have the charms inside. So I'm going to hold on to that, know that that's good. I'm now going to come from the outside and come in the next hole. I'm going to pull through, make sure I'm not pulling too tight. And if I do, I can just pull on this again. Now I'm going to come from the inside and gum back out to the outside on the top hole. I do try to make this tight, but I want to be careful that I don't lose this tail that I have here. From this outside, I'm going to come back into this hole. Now I want to make sure that I don't cross the threads. You will feel it. If the needle just slides right through, 9 out of 10, you have not crossed the threads. If you're feeling resistance, you've crossed the threads. So you can see my needle's up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wiggle it just to see, and I have not crossed, which means when I pull this, it's pulling the thread. If it does, then I just need to pull it back out, unthread it. So we'll see if I cross the threads in either of these. I came back here. Now I'm going to skip this one and go down to the next one, go to the outside. I'm then going to bend my book, and I'm going to take my needle in the top one and come through. By bending the book, it keeps the holes where they should be. It helps for the needle to go through. Now that I'm in the inside, I'm going to go to the next hole down, and I'm going to go to the outside. Again, I don't want to cross the thread, and you'll feel the resistance. And if you pull it and it doesn't move, that's another sign. So now I'm back to the outside. Now I want to come back up through the center. I'm going to bend the book. I'm going to push it through. And now what I want to make sure is a couple things. One, not crossing the threads. And two, I just want to lift this center up a little bit and thread my original tail to the other side. I want the two tails straddling that center line. All right, I don't know if you can see that. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove my clips. And I think this is loose. See how I have loopies? I don't know if you can see that. Got loopies. Yep, it's a technical term. But I want to pull on these. Now, whenever I pull on the tails, I pull straight up. I put my hand down, I let the tails between my fingers, and I pull straight up. It'll actually pull through the book. Again, straight up. Now, that's tight, that's tight. This middle one's not so much, but the outside is. So again, I'm just going to pull up again, and now I'm going to knot it because I have great tension. I did not cross the threads that time. And I'm just going to pull. I can now tear this from each side, and I throw that away. So now we have the first one sewn. Now I'll always walk my palm across it. This is sticking out, but there's a reason why these are sticking out, and I will show you. So this is the first one that is sewn together. And of course, I'm looking for a punch, and I can't find the punch. You would think I would be able to find it because, oh my. Okay, we'll find that later. I'm not going to worry about that now. So let's work on our next one. That first one went really simple. Let's see if we have issues with this one. So I'm going to thread. I already have my thread cut. Now, when I measure this, it's 3 times the width of your book. All right, and then I just add a few. So that's how we determine the length of our threads. All right, so here we go. We're going to start again. We're going to bend the book a little bit. We're going to go from the inside to the out, starting at the center. I'm going to make sure when I pull this and I have this coming over here that I have a tail. You can either go to the right or the left. I'm used to going to the left, coming in from the outside, come into the inside, to the top hole, going from the inside to the outside. Going to put a little bit of tension there, making sure I still have the tail that I want for the center of the book. Now I'm going to come back in this hole, making sure that I'm not crossing the threads. Now there we go. I crossed the threads. I don't know if you guys can see that. You see how the thread is going around? The needle's actually gone through the center of that thread. So how do I fix that? What I do is I get my hand underneath, I grab, I slowly pull down on the needle while holding the thread, and I shift the thread and pull my needle up. All right, so now I am not walking that thread. Now to get this tension back, pull your center because now you've got your tail. All right, and you saw that go down. I'm going to skip my center, go to the other side of the center, go to the outside. I'm going to flip so that I can bend this, come from the outside, go to the inside. Now I'm coming out. There we go. And now I'm going to come back out this one. Again, watch that you don't cross the threads. And again, you just got to keep an eye on it when you're going from the inside to the outside, because you're kind of there. It's not something that's easy to fix. I think I've got that, so I'm going to the outside. And now I'm going to pull. And here I'm going to pull because I've got some really huge loops there. So you can see as I pull, those loops go down. Again, I always pull straight out. Now I'm going to come back in the center. And again, I want to straddle that center mark. Again, but not crossing. And I'm about to cross the center. So again, I rest it on my hands. I'm going to lift the center up, pull the needle down, and then come up. Now, while I'm doing that, I'm going to make sure that needle gets on the other side of that center thread. And I just lost it. It's all right. Patience. And there we go. I make sure, yep, now I can come through. All right. So now I'm going to pull straight up. I'm going to pull straight up. Tight, tight, tight. This one's a little loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up in that middle. That pulled that down. I'm going to pull on that. This is walking the thread, basically. And what I'm doing is I'm just pulling on the thread. That's why you don't want to cross them, because then you can do that so that you can have tight in here and then have it tight going across there as well. And again, I'm just going to knot it. And I have enough for my tails, depending upon what I want to do. Sometimes I do just cut these and keep them in here, or I'll tie it in a bow. But that's a decision I could always make later. Again, I get rid of that. And now our second one. Rub along the spine just to get that down. And now our second one is sewn. So you can see that I also, when I do my prints, you can print two, double-sided. I always print single-sided because, again, it gives me more areas to either design or have journaling space, places to write. This here just creates a scene where I could just put a tuck here or, put something coming off of that. All right. Let me get my one puncher that I'm looking for, and I'll be right back. Okay, so yes, I finally found it. All right, so now I'm just going to take this, and I'm going to round the corners. Now, you don't have to. It's totally personal preference. I'm finding I'm doing this more. By rounding the corners, those corners can get beaten up. Now, this is all I do because this is paper. I'm not using, a fabric wrapped journal where I may use, the corners, book corners. It all depends. So when it's just paper, a paper cover like this, as I'm going off camera there, I will just round those corners. They take less of a beating. And I think I rounded the corners on all of them. Yes. Okay, so that's how we sew a signature. Now, again, the video after this, and this I've had to tape many times, but I was determined, guys. I needed you to see these absolutely beautiful collections. Again, Candy Christmas and Joyful Christmas by Calico Collage, designed by Norella Bouchard. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. So again, everything will be linked down below for her shop. She's got some beautiful, beautiful items in there. Now again, the next video is going to be sped up a little bit. There's all kinds of things that I'm doing in there. I'm gonna show you ephemera. I'm gonna show you how I started to create the base of the ephemera, so it's really cool. You'll see all the other journals that I've put together so far. Oh yes. So there will be different steps that you see. So I'm gonna try to get in as much as I can. This video is going to be long, like I said before. So instead of the normal hour live, it's going to be probably total about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, just to show you as much as I can. And then when I complete it, as I'm making more ephemera, that'll be in a separate video outside of the days of the Christmas series. I wanted to be able to show you more with it instead of having this take up many days. All right, so let's get into the voiceover part. See you guys soon. Okay, so sped the video up now, and what I'm going to be showing you, it's actually hysterical. So, just so you know, we've sewn our signature together. Know this, I had a really tough time, like I believe I've said before, when it came to this video. Kept on losing it. I kept on... More will be explained in the reveal or whole review of the series. So I actually am ending up making 6 journals. So yeah, all right. So what I'm doing, remember, there were some pages that were sticking out of the journal after it was sewn. What I'm doing is, and what I used to do was, I always used to sew my lace or trim or fabric edges onto my pages. I've stopped doing that. I actually have gone into gluing them in. Now with this type of edge here, it's an awesome chenille. It looked really cool. I found it deep buried. And I just thought it was perfect for this. So with that paper hanging out a little further, I'm folding down that edge. So I'm bringing it in. It's going to make the paper a little bit thicker, a little bit more substantial to hold the weight. This is chenille, this thread that's very loopy, you know, making it look like Santa's beard. So I just want to make sure that the page has the heft to hold on to this so that it's not so floppy as you're turning the pages. I do like to put the glue down, then put my ribbon down. Sometimes I'll cut the length of what the page is. It doesn't matter. Again, whatever's convenient and what you feel most comfortable with. Again, to journal, have fun with it. What I love is when you open the pages, that sets like a frame right around my middle page. I'm going to come in with some lace now that'll wrap around the center page. So here is where I'll cut the length, and I'm going to cut 2, 1 for each side. And I'm going to make sure, since this is wide and it's symmetrical, you can fold it in half, and I'm going to do that over the page. Again, so when this lays flat, you've got the lace on the center page, and then on the next pages, you've got that fringe coming off of it. So I just thought it was a different look, you know, a different feel for what the page is going to do. So I've got my one side glued down, and now I'm going to place my glue whenever I am putting in fabric or lace or ribbon or trims, whatever it may be. It does have a fabric component. I do use my Fabri-Tac for that, but you can use other glues. You know, use what you have. You can use a tacky glue. Just know it'll take a little bit longer to dry. Don't use as much as the tacky glue because it is a very high level content of water. So warpage will happen, you know, but it doesn't mean you can't use it. So I finished that. Now this one I already had the fringe on. Now I'm going to add another type of trim to the edges of this. I didn't want to use the same trim that I used for the other one, mainly because these images are right up to the edge and it would cover a lot of Santa and Frosty. So I'm just going to put this down the front. Again, creating that illusion that it's framed, but you'll know when you turn the page, you don't have that there, if that makes sense. And we have that. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to cut these or if I'm going to have charms coming from them or paper charms or anything like that. Again, I've got these edges that are sticking out further from my copy paper. I am folding them down because I am going to be putting a trim on top of them, whether it's lace, fabric, or anything like that. Because of the beautiful colors, I was able to pull in my pink trim. I was very excited over this, just to pull in that different color, to make it fun. So remember, I didn't want, again, last year, the journal took 3 days from the series, which, again, I was fine. I wanted you to see that, wanted you to see how that was working. And I wanted you to see the completion. Now, you will still see the completion on this, but what we're going to do is we're going to finish it up over the weekend, just after Christmas. So either on the 26th or the 27th or sometime soon after that, you will actually see another video. It's going to be one more video. I'm really cramming this one in. Where you're going to see some of the ephemera that I made, some of the pockets that I made, some of the tucks. And I did something a little bit differently, which you will see very soon. Did something a little bit different when it came to the creating of the ephemera and the tags and everything up. And I had a ball with it. Just absolutely had a ball. So I'm continuing through the pages. Now I'm adding another type of trim. When it comes to my journals, I love things to stick out. I love, you know, all of the ribbons to come off the top or to come out the sides or hang down from the bottom. You know, they're not the typical journals. You can put them on a shelf. I mean, by all means, you can still do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But these, just remember that this style here, it is a soft, in a way, a soft cover. It's a piece of cardstock. I'm not using chipboard or cereal boxes, which you certainly can. I mean, why not? You know, keep those cereal boxes and it'll give your piece more strength, and you can just cover it up with paper or with fabric. And you'll have this great, substantial cover. And I will be showing that. I do want to show you how I put them together. It's a little bit different, but just to show you how that can work. So you can see this is becoming very chunky. I like to call them chunky monkeys. Got lots of pages going on in here. You can see I used the deckled edge trimmer to trim my pages. Just chose what pages we're going to have what trim. I'm going to go through the other one. Now again, this is, you know, 2 of 6. Just saying. And just doing the same thing. Folding that piece of paper over. And then adding the trim to it. So as always, every year, when I come down to the end, there's always something that happens. You know, everything runs well. It goes daily. The way that I look for it to by a certain time, usually when it hits right around the 15th, is when I start going daily, or my plan is to go daily with my Christmas series so that you get one video a day. But it never fails. A week before or sometimes close, there's always something that happens. You know, life is wonderful that way. Life brings in those challenges and those things that we must get through. So, of course, it threw my whole schedule off, although I was surprised it made it as long as it did. So, probably when you're seeing this, there's going to be others that are going to come out that day as well. But again, it's just all in fun. It's to give you some ideas. It's to give you some tips and tricks on maybe some different things, different ways to put things together, make connections in your designs, in your creations, because remember, like I always say, we all create art, and we always find what works best for us when we do this. So, and that's the beauty of it. Again, this is just the way that I've put my journals together. I am very much inspired. I'm inspired by many. Yvonne and Gail and Wendy. I mean, that's just a few. Taylor made journals. I love watching some of her beautiful journals that she puts together, and so many others. So it's all this huge, you know, combination things going on. Just remember, these are your creations, so you don't have to dye anything. Spray it with water. Let it dry. You'll get the same effect. I like to use things that are in my stash. And what I mean by that is, you know, card maker. I've got lots of stamps. I've got lots of dies, and they can certainly be incorporated into this as well. All right, so we've got all of our lace and our trims in our books. So now I want to create the backgrounds for my tags. I don't necessarily want to cover them up with the papers from the digital collection, but you certainly can. Again, it is your choice. So I dug into my oxides and I chose some colors that closely matched the color schemes of each of these digital downloads that I chose. So I chose picked raspberry, I chose, I think, scattered straw for the yellow, I think mowed lawn for the green. I went with shaded lilac for the purple, and I believe I went with broken china, broken china for the blue. So you can see for these, I am just spraying color down onto the tags. Again, I just wanted to get some color onto these. These are going to be the base. Now that doesn't mean I'm not going to add book pages or dictionary page for the background or tissue paper or whatever, you know, anything that we can think of. Components from the digital download, you know, whatever it may be. But I just wanted to get a really cool looking base for these tags and kind of give it the same mixed media feel that was created through the designer. So here now I'm just spraying down some green, and I want that to dry first. The beauty, and again, I'm using oxides, so as long as you dry in between each layer, you won't have much mixing between the layers. So now that I have that dry, I grabbed a stencil. This is from scrapbook.com. I'm going to come in with my blue, spray on top of that, and then I'm going to press on the top with other size tags. So look at that beautiful impression. That was awesome. I was loving that. But I just love that background. I think it's cool. We've got the snowflakes, and I even took that little bit. Why not have half of it? Doesn't have to be the entire back. Also, I'm also going to come in with some plain copier paper to sop up all of that extra ink. I know sometimes when I do these things, especially when I do my ink smushing, people get so upset. You're throwing away that ink. Gotta use it up, sop it up, sop it up. Well, I did. I used a piece of copier paper because I can use that throughout these journals as backgrounds or tucks or pockets or something like that. Again, there's a snowflake theme, that's a new word, theme going through this. So, you know, we can bring in our stamps when it comes to that. To just add a hint of color in the background of the pages. So that's pretty much, I'm going to keep on doing this. I'm going to add, I have another stencil of just dots. And it's funny, I just wanted the dots on the bottom, so I covered it up with a tag, and I figured, okay, why not? As I'm spraying, it will go onto the tag, so that will add color to it. I'm going to sop up that ink again onto my plain copier sheet there, and again I'm drying that, so I'm just going to have this sense of those polka dots in the background. Again, I had swirls, I had snowflakes, I had all kinds of, you know, cute images in the background coming in. Now I'm just having way too much fun with the copy paper. Just saying. And I just keep on picking things up. So now I'm going to come in, I've got a little bit of yellow down on the bottom of that tag and some green. Now I'm going to come in with my picked raspberry, cover that up, and then again, sopping that up, making sure that I pick that up through and onto the copy paper, and then that will give me the imprint of the snowflakes. Once I have that, I'll pull in another tag, and again, I'm just layering and just adding colors and picking them up and having just way too much fun doing all of this. You gotta love mixed media. You gotta love getting inky and getting ink all over the place and splatters and everything else. I find it's very relaxing. I really, really do. I think it's great. So when it comes to these copy papers, those two will be my backgrounds. Now, you could also do this as well, and why not make them your pages within your journal? That would be kind of cool. That'd be kind of different when it comes to your pages. Have fun with it. Nobody says that it has to be copy paper. Nobody says that it has to be coffee dyed or tea dyed. Nobody says that it has to be scrapbook. It can be anything that you want, as long as you can cut it down to the size and put it into your journal. When it comes to the tags, and as I'm moving them, I'm not worried about them sitting on top of each other if they're still wet. They'll be able to dry, because on the other side I may cover it, or I may just like the look that it gave when it came to the colors transferring onto the other side, or anything like that. So as I think or feel that a piece is completed, I'm just throwing it up there on the top of the box. And then just moving on into the next one to see what that does. Again, having fun with spraying, whether I spray through the stencil or whether I flip it over and just swap up that ink. So these are all the tags and the pieces that we made. I am absolutely loving these. I cannot wait until I start decorating them and creating the embellishments. Again, they could be pockets, they could be tucks, they could be mini books, they could be mini flip outs, or they could be flip ups. You know, whatever it is we decide, that is what they could be. I'm going to make sure that these are dry before I stack them up and put them away. Now, remember, there's going to be another video, and it's going to be a long video, and what I may do is speed the video up and do that one as a voiceover as well. What I don't want everyone to think is that my junk journals will be going to voiceovers. I do enjoy just turning on the camera that or my phone, really, that I'm taping with, and just seeing what I create. Just throwing things together and see what we come up with. No, you don't see the bulk, but you're definitely able to grab a hold of the technique or the tip that I'm trying to give on that. It's just through this process that we are going to do that voiceover. We just did speed this up just a little bit so that you could see that. So the next video that I show over the weekend or soon after, it's going to be the same thing because I want you to see a lot. Remember, 6 journals. Yeah, that's what, this is the trouble that I had. Oh, it was horrible. I filmed, looked great, started rendering, fuzzy. Couldn't clear it up. I'm like, okay, well, I can't put this out there. This would drive me crazy. Okay. Taped over it again. Was totally out of frame. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Okay, had to get rid of that one. Taped it again. Now, for the first one, I did 2. Showed 2 signatures being sewn. For the second one, it was just one journal signature being sewn. When it came to the third time I did this, I hit record, but I didn't turn my iPad off. My iPad runs with just noise in the background. And I'm binge watching something that I've seen 10 million times. So yeah, totally forgot to turn that off. So you've got the competition of the 2. Yeah. So finally we got it done in the last one. So what's great is one's really coffee dyed, like I coffee dye. I coffee dye dark when I coffee dye my pages. Then there's another one where I just sprayed the papers with water and it picked up what's in the trays that I use when I put it in my oven. It picked up the leftover coffee in there because I don't rinse them out. I don't clean them. I just let them dry. So there's a little, just like a light hint of coffee going on. I have a couple where I didn't do any coffee dyeing, any water, no tea dyeing. They are just straight paper. So there's no crinkles. There's no sound effects. And then I think the other 2 is I took coffee into a spray bottle, about a quarter of it full, and then the rest of it was water. So I lightened the coffee and sprayed it before putting in the... Oh yeah, there's all kinds of ways that I did this. It's absolutely amazing. But I do honestly hope that you enjoy this. I know it's a little different, but stick with me here. And I do hope you'll check out the shop, Calico Collage. There's beautiful designs in there, so I encourage you, look it over. Just sit on Etsy and search or the internet. There are some beautiful digital downloads. I already have my lineup for next year, so, or at least the beginning, so get ready. All right? So again, thank you so much. Again, now this is actually day 21. We were shooting for day 19. Couldn't make it there. But at least we finally got it up. Guys, this is what it is. This is the reality of doing a channel. At least for me. I'm just all over the place. I name stamps, other companies that they're not. We just have fun with it. I will link down to the shop and the digital downloads down below. And if you have any questions, please make sure you leave those down below as well. And I will make sure I get back to you as soon as I can. I am slowly catching up there and getting through those comments. There's been so many wonderful ones. I want to make sure I don't miss any. Laugh. Smile. Try to do it each day. And hopefully watching my videos will make you crack up. So that should help. Continue to stay safe and healthy. As we continue through our journey, we will get through this. It will pass. But remember what's most important. Always be creative. Till day 22, guys. Take care.